So you couldn't see how many were active? Oh, no, Kyle, you're fine. If there's not any active, it doesn't mean you have to spring up and be active. Just keep that in mind. You don't always have to be here, but while you're here, be a mod. Does that make sense? There's no expectation for how often you have to be here, but while you're here, do what you can. I don't want people to get that confused. I'm not trying to force you guys to be here. You have to be here all the time. You said 4 to 6. You're not here 4 to 6. I don't care. I'm not going to hold you to that. I don't even hold myself to those regards, and I stream. I was always spoiled and couldn't get away with anything, as the youngest siblings do. Gotcha. With the kappa at the end. I don't think Hafnium wants to go into a random pawn shop in the middle of Wisconsin. I wouldn't want to do that. I have to be here all the time, Stockholm Syndrome. Hey, like I said, as long as I can continue doing this full time, I will continue to do this full time. People are telling me to take time off and take days off. I told them if I can hit my goals consistently, I can start taking more time off, but we haven't been doing that, so I gotta be here. Kyle, they're looking for free, probably. That's what I would say. Well, yeah, no more white girl. That's why you can get monitors and stuff for cheap, because they don't, people think they're expensive when they're after one thing, and pawn shops don't want to give them a lot for it because they know that it's not theirs. So you can usually find them for, they probably give them $10 for it. They sell it for $20. So you can usually buy a nice monitor for like $20. You're not. You just replied to "Oh my" with a joke. What do you mean? Oh no, I know that, Hafnium. We have the store near me called Unclaimed Baggage. Good deals on things, but questionable is how they got them. Of course. Unclaimed baggage. So I used to work at a Dollar General. I was a manager at a Dollar General for a couple years. Why is it in such a high orbit? That way ships coming in from over here can get to it easier without having to go all the way close. It's only like 50 Delta V burn from orbit of Minmus to get here. I'm not really wasting that much fuel. So, at the Dollar General, when they had like seasonal clothes and stuff, baby clothes and everything, when the season would end, they would start marking things down. 50% off, 60, 70, 80, 90. And then what happened was we had to do what's called penny it out. And what you do is you scan the item, you change its price to 1 cent, and then you throw it away. And that's what we did. And I asked them one time, I was like, can I not take some of this home if you're going to penny it out? They're like, nope, company policy, it has to be thrown out. And we would throw out so many clothes. And I would wager to guess that after seasons, people probably dumpster dive, grab those clothes, wash them, and then sell them or give them away or something like that. It's probably a good thing to do. Throw it out right into your car. Well, they had cameras everywhere. Places like Dollar General and stuff like that, they care more about their bottom line than anything else, and they will watch you like a hawk. They had cameras everywhere. You know how normally you see like a monitor for security and there's like 9 cameras? They had 9 cameras, but they also had 8 pages. Page 2 had 9 cameras. Page 3 had 9 cameras. There were cameras everywhere. And they didn't care about the shoplifting or the customers. They cared about you and what you were doing. And if you weren't doing the job, they got on you for it. And they had cameras around the dumpster, on the dumpster, where the trucks park, where you parked, where they watched your every move. We now just give to the person buying it. Well, yeah, J-Rock. I mean, I would pay a nickel a piece for them. But they're like, nope, company policy. We got to throw them out. Oh, yeah, no more white girl. I wouldn't doubt that one bit. Dr. Death Games, welcome in, my friend. I hope you're well. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, Dirt Jonas. Having this out at a 500,000 orbit makes it easier to get to when we're coming to Minmus from somewhere else. And it really isn't that much of an impact on this ship because it's only like an extra 30 Delta V to get to it. We're not really risking anything. It's Minmus. There's really nothing crazy going on here. They know where the most of the loss comes from. It wasn't the shoplifters. Well, no, I know that, but I mean, most of their at the store we worked at, or I worked at, most of our loss came from damaged goods. The truck would show up, and the way they did things in the truck were so bad, and all the boxes and everything were damaged. Like 30 to 40% of our loss came from damaged goods from the truck. You still work there, J-Rock? Last time I worked there was 2009. I was a manager of one in West Virginia. I was helping my grandmother out. She needed some help around the property and stuff, so I moved over there and helped her out for a little bit. Did the stuff come in blue totes? There were blue totes, but things came in these big metal cages that were collapsible and had wheels. I forgot what they called them, but each cage had each cage was a specific department. And you had like sporting goods and toiletries and stationery and things like that. And it was just, and you had an expectation. You had to do like X number of those cages per hour, per customer, per employee. And you had to do that while you were taking care of customers at the cash register and everything. It was a mess. Uh-oh. Don't do it. Don't wiggle. Stop wiggling. Not those cages? Oh, they were crazy. I wonder if you can look them up. Oops. Hold on. Dollar General stock cages. They didn't really want people taking pictures of them. Right here. They had a net across the front of it right there. And those things. And they collapsed and they went in there like that and combined. And each one had a department. And you would load cardboard in it. So, rolltainer. There it is. Perfect. And the truck driver would show up. You would have X amount of rolltainers with cardboard. X that were empty. And it had to be the same number that came from the truck before. And they wrote it all. Every one of them had a label. And it was... So, yeah, rolltainer. Oh, right there. You said top left. Yep, there you go. That's how they come off the truck. So much damaged product. I hate these things. This is the dumbest things ever. So much damaged product come from that stuff. And yeah, that's how they look. There's all the dog food and stuff. God, I remember those. I hate those. I worked there 11 years ago, and I still remember these damn things. I hated them. I hated them. I hated them. I hated them. I worked at general merchandise distribution for Kroger when I was in college, and it was the worst. So yeah, each truck, so the trucks came with a tag, and the tag had a number on it, and you had to note the number, and you got your own tag to put on the truck that you loaded back up again, and like everything, everything was crazy. Those metal tags, boy, they would cut you too, but you had to make sure you had to keep it. until you were done with all the stock and everything. It was a pain in the ass. And I was working there right before they released the behavioral assessments that everybody does now in retail. Do you strongly agree or do you strongly disagree? And when they first came out, me and the assistant manager, we took the test just for fun to see if we would pass it. We both failed it. We were like, well, we wouldn't have been hired here. It looks like a very inefficient way to stack. Normal, it was dumb, man. It was dumb. My very first job, I worked for Kitty Hawk, an air cargo company, and the ambulance worst smell is a cargo plane full of ferrets. Oh, yeah. Gross. Friggin' nugs. The cashiers had to do that stuff, too. Everybody at the Dollar General had to do everything. The only thing the managers did was make a schedule. Other than that, everybody did the same amount of work, and it was a pain in the butt. Oh, I didn't refuel, did I? I also didn't process the ore. I'm an idiot. Osaka Picks upload on the Discord. Nice. Were you not able to find sleep? I thought you said you were passing out. Welcome back in. I hope you're well. That was it. Well, when you're leaning, you could be cleaning. You can shoot me for saying that. Liquid fuel oxygen. Oxidizer. Go. Alright, we're getting there. We're making a dent. It's going to take us a while, but we're making a dent. You can't sleep. Gotcha. You never been a Dollar General that looks well organized, but I guess that's why. So the ones that would be well organized, they become, what is the term? They become like a showcase store, and that's where all the managers go to look at it, to be told that's how your store should look. And Dollar Generals, yeah, they're never well organized. They're always a mess. They're always a mess. They say do 3x with x1 hours. Yep. Yep. I can only imagine, dude. I'm glad I don't work retail anymore. Screw retail. Especially nowadays. They don't want to raise prices. They want to make you work for more. You took some castle picks for me? Thanks. I like castles. Wait for this thing to cool down before I disembark. While I refuel, it'll come down some more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's coming down even lower now. Nice. I'll take that. This is off. Our store raised prices, but we never see the extra money. Well, of course you're not going to. They got to pay for their overhead. Everything's getting more expensive. Was a caged grizzly? Wait, what? That's crazy, Goldie Bear. You'd have walked years ago. J-Rock, I don't know what kind of relationship you have with your boss, but I hope that they genuinely like you, because I never liked any of my employees that I worked with, even though I told them that. You have to tell them that. They tell you to tell them that. They're like, make sure you encourage them. Make sure you tell them they're doing a good job. We want to keep the ones that work hard here. Don't want to lose them. Do you have any good stories about bad employees? I mean, not really. Nothing that you probably haven't ever heard before. You know what? In all honesty, Notorious, I was probably the worst employee at any place I ever worked at. They just spent $250,000 on the deli. They made too much last year for tax write-offs. Yeah. They got to spend money, that way they can look like they're making a loss. Worst employee in what way? I was just lazy. Like the whole 3x for 1x or whatever. No, I'm one of those people that I will procrastinate until the very last minute and then get it all done. If it's something I don't care about, if I'm passionate about it, I work, you know, a lot on it. But you're never passionate about most of your jobs that you work. You're just like, yep, where's my paycheck? Next. That's not really retail, though? Wait. Oh, you're talking about that, Spooky. I gotcha. But yeah, I just didn't have a drive. No one drives to work good at retail. No one cares. You have to work so long, and you have to be in certain places for so long in order to get any kind of just recognition beyond the shit they give you anyways. It's just not worth it. Am I supposed to be passionate according to your boss? Yeah, you sure are. You're supposed to give a damn because they give a damn. They probably give just about as much damn as you do. They don't care either. You cared about your margins because bonus? Well, yeah, we didn't get any bonuses at Dollar General. They don't care. You're supposed to give a damn because you get paid. You don't have to be passionate. Nah, that's not true, Tin Can. You don't have to give a damn at all. Was making a higher pay grade than the rest of us, but she didn't do all the work. She didn't work all 40 hours and took every other Friday off. Made the rest of the returning interns really upset. Oh, yeah. And that's why, so friggin' Nugs, that's why employers tell you not to discuss income with other employees, because that kind of imbalance is always going to happen. When you should be open. What you make at a job should be shared and talked about by everyone there. You shouldn't keep it a secret. Because you want to expose the inequalities and things like that. You want to point that stuff out. Only bad thing is, depending on the environment you work in, you're going to get fired. And it may never get anything done with it. So it kind of suppresses you from doing it to begin with. Tin Can, you're giving a damn about the paycheck that you're getting, not the work that you're doing. You don't wake up and go, oh boy, it's time for work. You go, oh, gotta go in again because I need to get paid on Friday. You can't tell me you don't. Unless you own your own business. Then it's probably different. Giving a damn is caring. That's what you tell people when you don't care about something. I don't give a damn. How is that any different? Another day, another nickel. How you doing, Fanatic? Welcome in, buddy. That is why I will not go into retail. Yeah, Loin, I hated it. You do care because I have bills. But you care about the paycheck, not about the work being done. Is my argument. Hi, Odin. Welcome in. You like the environment too? Okay, well you're probably the exception to the rule. You like working in a small town grocery store, not Target, because they just didn't care about the workers. Well, I worked. Funny story. I applied. So when I first moved to the city my grandmother lived in, I applied at all the places that were around because there wasn't much around. And I wanted to have a job that way I can financially support myself and also help my grandmother out. And I applied at the grocery store. So I was not someone who would work at a grocery store normally, obviously, because I was well qualified. I was an estimator for years. You know, I had all this work history and everything else. So I applied for this job to be a cashier. And I get called in for an interview with the owner of the company. He sits in the back in an office. He's like the owner. He also runs the operations or whatever, right? So I walk in there and I shake his hand and I sit down. And he's like, so I got your resume here. I noticed you applied for a job. And I was like, yeah. He stands up and starts yelling at me. What are you trying to pull here, sir? Excuse me? So I stood up. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And me and him started having a yelling match back and forth. Apparently, he was intimidated by me because I'm more qualified than he is to even have his job, and he was wondering why I was applying to be a cashier. He was accusing me of being a snake, that I was going to snake my way to the top and take him out of his position. And we're sitting there yelling at each other, and he's like, I don't know what you're trying to pull. And I said, I'm just here to help my grandmother, damn it. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, you're overqualified, so if you want to start working, what day you want to start working? I was like, I can start working tomorrow if you want. He's like, all right, start working tomorrow. Oh man, we were yelling at each other. I left the office after that, and there was a woman walking by, and she's like, everything okay in there? I was like, yep, I'll see you tomorrow. I just walked right out of the store. Oh, that guy was so paranoid. But he just started yelling at me, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? This is the most brutal hiring process I've ever been into. But yeah, that was great. But he wasn't smug. He was just scared. He thought I was going to take his job. I'm like, I don't want your job, okay? I was like, I just want to be a cashier. I just want to make some money so I can put gas in my car. Yeah, right, Tin Can? Well, it was weird because the next day I was training with a woman or whatever, and I told her that I had an interview with the owner. And she was like, that's weird. People usually interview with the hiring manager. And I was like, yeah, it was weird. I think he knows one of my family members. He just wanted to say hi. She was like, oh, that's cool. That was a lie. I didn't tell her what really happened. I stood toe-to-toe with his ass, and I screamed at him for an hour. It wasn't an hour, but it felt like it. But it was a small-town grocery store. The guy was intimidated. I thought it was hilarious. He was like, you work in all these big fancy places, and now you want to come over here to this little grocery store? I was like, yeah, and shit happens, dude. This was 2009. It was the year after everything crashed. I was like, shit happens, dude. There's no construction work out there. What do you want me to do? Yes, I'm here at your piddly grocery store to make $8 an hour. You can start on this date, Das Hibbit. That sounds silly. That's silly. Greatest baseball team ever. The early 1900s Boston Red Sox. You're welcome. All right, what are we doing? We're mining. You should make a play for it? I wasn't in the mood to do that back then. I was just wanting to help my grandmother, dude. My focus was not on, like, world domination, especially of his little podunk grocery store. Probably brought in a good $200 a day. Are you free this summer and still want a job? Oh, that's cool. Oh, it was a future brother-in-law. I got you. I was going to say, it sounds like a softball more than anything else. When she interviews at work. So normal. There's another interview. One of the most memorable interviews I ever had. I was applying for a gas station job. And I was talking to the regional manager. I've told chat this before. But some of you guys are new. You might not have heard it before. She introduced herself. We talked. She asked me questions. We went through the whole interview thing. Before I left, she said, I got one more question for you. I was like, what's that? She said, do you remember what my name was? And she smiled. And I was like, oh, shit. I don't remember your name. I was like, you told me at the beginning of the interview, but I couldn't tell you. I'm sorry. And I ended up getting the job, but that hit me. I hit a wall, and I was like, oh shit. I was supposed to know her name at the end of the interview. I've used that trick a few times. I don't do a make or break, but I like making them sweat. Should have said Karen. This was 2004. I don't think the term Karen existed back then. Her name was Tammy, though. I'll never forget her name. Her name was Tammy. I had to work for him in Charlotte, and he poached me for a job in Wake Forest. Gotcha. You're terrible at remembering names? I'm not. I wasn't then, but I was just going through the motions. I was living with my dad. I had been on my own for like 3 or 4 years. 'Cause I got kicked out of my house, and my dad split with my mom, and he was living off somewhere. So I went and stayed with him for a little bit, and I was like, I'm gonna find me a job while I'm here. And I was just, I was interviewing at so many places, and I was just going through. I didn't think I was ever gonna see her again, so I didn't really make an effort to remember her name because I didn't care. But boy, did I remember her name after that. You can remember faces more than names. I mean, there's different phenomena for that kind of stuff. There's people that can remember, faces more than names, names more than faces, numbers. Some people will meet somebody and they'll associate like a fruit or a vegetable with them, and they'll remember them better. People do things by association all the time. I think you're boring. That's why I sub. Wow. Thanks, Tin Can. Asshole. I appreciate it, though. At least you're honest. Sarcasm? Where does the interview question was, why is mass conserved during a chemical reaction? I mean, why isn't it? Why would it not be? Your one weakness is interviews, and that and resumes and networking. You should, Mayor of Space, you should go into an interview, and like when someone asks you what your weaknesses are, be like, man, my weaknesses are interviews and resumes and networking and lists, and it'd be a good laugh because you didn't finish the list. Anyways, let's meet up with the space station. Seems too much like a gimme. Isn't that what you just recently had for your teaching job? I think I remember you regaling us about that. Yeah. Super Cat. I got asked to sing Happy Birthday in your interview. Nice. Did you sing it? That sounds like a Super Troopers thing. Get him to sing Happy Birthday. What? Just get it. Just tell him to sing Happy Birthday. Oh, okay. Can you sing Happy Birthday? Happy Birthday. Higher. No octave.